it's Jess. So I'm back today with a DIY. It's my first DIY. Yay! So this DIY is going to be a Z palette, or a dupe for a Z palette. I was looking for ways to depot my eyeshadows because I am buying a lot of eyeshadows lately and it's starting to get a little cluttered down there. And I wanted to buy a Z palette, but the Z palettes are about, I don't know, like 30. So I was determined to figure out how to make my own, and I marched on over to Walmart, picked up a few supplies, and made my own. And this is what it looks like. Isn't it awesome? It has that clear top here. You can see everything that's going on inside. I actually depotted my NYX Smoky and Natural palette. I put it in here, and I still have some room, so I'm thinking of putting some of my e.l.f. Eyeshadows. I have an e.l.f. book that I want to depot, so I'll probably stick it in here and then paste the colors on the back. So if you're interested in learning how to create your own, stay tuned. Hey lovelies, so in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create your own Z palette using just these tools. Pretty awesome. And everything's going to be under $12. So let's get started. So you're going to need some depotted eyeshadow, and I'm just using eyeshadow from my Natural palette. Some scissors, which you should already have in your house laying around. Some duct tape, which I got for $2.88 at Walmart. This is optional, but I do recommend it. Some magnetic tape. I got this for $1.97 at Walmart. And magnetic tape strips, which was also $1. And then watercolor palette. You can use anything. I chose to use this. This was $3 at Walmart. So you're going to open up your watercolor palette and remove all the contents inside, or you can toss the contents inside, and then you're left with an empty palette. You want to make sure that the palette is as smooth as possible, so any ridges you remove, and then you can open up your magnetic tape here, like so. And I should probably put that piece of paper down. Jessica, put the paper down. Come on, there you go. And just open it up. Now you want to take the magnetic tape and just measure it to your palette from top to bottom. And make sure that it is the length that you need. Once you get your desired length, you're going to snip off a strip like that. And just measure it again just to make sure that it is perfect. And once you figure out that it is perfect, you want to remove the strip and peel off the paper from the back to expose the adhesive. And then you're going to just push the magnetic tape down into your empty palette. Just make sure that the strip is perfectly flush against the top of the palette, because you don't want any, gaps on the top, because obviously some eyeshadows are going to be put up in there. So push it down as best as you can. You don't want it to come up. And then you're just going to repeat these steps for the rest of the palette. To make my life easier, I used the strip that I cut as a guide for the remaining strips. Like so. Boom. And then you're just going to repeat the same steps, peel off the paper, adhere it to the palette, and push down. Peel off the paper. Peel it. Okay. Adhere it to the palette. And push down. Now as you can see, I have a very small gap there, so I'm going to take the strip that I cut and I'm just going to guesstimate the width. It doesn't have to be perfect. That is the bottom, so no biggie. Don't kill yourself over it. So I'm just snipping off a piece and peeling off the paper and adhering it to my palette. And there you go. Completely magnetized. Yeah. So now that your palette is totally magnetized, we want to take our duct tape, like so, peel off a slither of that, and you want to cover the first half of your palette in duct tape because we don't want those magnetic tape strips to be showing. It looks a little gangster. So we're going to put our duct tape on top and just measure it. As you measure, I suggest that you do push it down just to make sure that it is completely straight, no bubbles, blah blah blah. And then you're going to snip off the duct tape once you get it at the desired length. And then of course, let your duct tape fall and then push down your duct tape onto your magnetic strips just to make sure that it's completely flat. And then you're going to repeat that same step for the other half. Now for this container that I'm using, we only need 2 strips of duct tape. It all depends on what you're using, but for this we'll only need 2. There we go. And snip. Boom. And there you go. Look at that Z palette, or J palette. We're going to call it a J palette. How awesome is that? And now for the final step, we are going to take our magnetic tape strips, going to remove a sheet, break off a piece like a Kit Kat bar, break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar, and then you're going to cut that strip into small squares. We're going to use these for the back of our eyeshadows because we want to make sure that they're going to stay still on our Z palette. You don't want anything moving around. And once you use these, they're going to be completely reusable, so you don't have to do this step all the time you want to, switch out your eyeshadows. So you're going to take your strip and your depotted eyeshadow and your trusty glue gun. I'm using a high temperature glue gun from Walmart, which I already had. And you're just going to pop a small dot of glue onto the back of your eyeshadow palette. Boom. There you go. Got it. Press it. Remove all those strands. And pop it onto your palette, which I'm doing in the back. There you go. There you go. And it stays as still. So you're going to repeat this step for all your eyeshadows. And I know you guys are probably thinking, oh my god, this is so much work. But it is totally worth it. And it beats spending that $30 to $35 for a Z palette online. And not only that, but I found this completely therapeutic. It was my time to play with my makeup. And who doesn't like that? But make sure you don't get your finger as you're gluing like I did. Ouch. So now for the final step, I'm just going to remove the label that I used on my regular palette. And I'm going to pop that label in the back of my J palette. And I'm just going to make sure that it is completely straight and flat. That is my smoky label. And those are my smoky eyeshadows. And then we're going to repeat the same step for our natural label because I depotted both of those palettes. So we're going to peel off. Boom. And add here. Make sure it's straight. That's totally not straight, Jess. Alright, there we go. Nice and straight. And voila! There's your Z palette. Under $12. Yeah! Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comment section. I would love to do more DIYs. And don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you guys later. Love ya, love ya, love ya. Bye.